Ever wondered why we often feel a pang of discomfort when someone we know achieves something great? This is the intricate world of envy, a complex emotion deeply rooted in our human nature. It's a sensation that can be as subtle as a fleeting shadow or as conspicuous as a thunderstorm. Envy, in its essence, is the discomfort we feel when someone else's success makes us feel inferior or frustrated. It's a ubiquitous emotion, a part of our survival instinct that pushes us to compete, to strive for more. But when left unchecked, this desire to excel can morph into a more sinister form of envy, one that can lead to hostility and resentment. Now, envy isn't a one-size-fits-all emotion. It can be passive or active. Passive envy is like a small pebble in your shoe, irritating but bearable. It might manifest as a snide remark or a backhanded compliment, a subtle sting that's often dismissed as a harmless joke. But beneath the surface, it's an indication of an underlying sense of inferiority. Active envy, on the other hand, is more aggressive. It's the raging fire that fuels hostility towards those we perceive as superior. It's an emotion so powerful that it drives us to act out, to sabotage, and to harm. It's the kind of envy that can destroy relationships and create chaos. But here's the tricky part. Recognizing envy isn't as easy as spotting a red flag in a sea of white. It's elusive, often masquerading as admiration or harmless ribbing. It requires a keen eye and a deeper understanding of human behavior to identify the early signs of envy. Yet, the ability to recognize and understand envy is a crucial skill. It's the first step to managing this complex emotion, to ensure it doesn't corrode our relationships or our self-esteem. Because at the end of the day, envy is not about the other person's success. It's about our own insecurities and the way we perceive ourselves in comparison to others. Recognizing the early signs of envy is the first step to managing this complex emotion. Envy is subtle and elusive. It lurks in the shadows of our interactions, often undetected. It's a feeling that's as old as humanity itself, and it manifests in ways that are sometimes difficult to recognize. But once you know what to look for, identifying the signs of envy can become second nature. Let's start with micro-expressions. These are fleeting, involuntary expressions that flash across people's faces when they experience intense emotions. When envy strikes, you might notice a brief flash of boredom, disdain, or even hostility in someone's eyes. This is usually followed by a forced smile, a mask to hide the true feelings underneath. Next, we have what is known as poisonous praise. This occurs when someone compliments you, but there's something off about it. It leaves you feeling uneasy, almost as if the praise was forced or insincere. This is because the person giving the compliment is battling with feelings of envy, and this conflict manifests as discomfort. Then, there's backbiting. If someone regularly gossips about others, chances are they're doing the same about you. This is a classic sign of envy. People who are envious often resort to gossip as a way to make themselves feel better about their own perceived inadequacies. Finally, there's the push and pull dynamic. This is when someone befriends you, only to later use what they've learned about you to criticize or belittle you. It's a way for them to cope with their feelings of envy by bringing you down to their level. These signs are not always easy to spot, and they can often be mistaken for other emotions or behaviors. However, with a keen eye and a bit of practice, you can become adept at recognizing them. Remember, these signs are not definitive proof of envy, but they can certainly provide valuable insight into the emotions that may be at play. Spotting these signs is the key to identifying the presence of envy in our relationships. By doing so, we can better navigate our social interactions and understand the motivations of those around us. Envy exists in various forms and personalities. To start, we have the leveler, who attempts to keep everyone on their same niveau, often promoting mediocrity. Next, the self-entitled slacker expects success without effort and lacks discipline to see their ideas through. The status fiends are overly concerned with social and financial status, while the attacher is driven by envy, using information to fuel gossip and tarnish reputations. Lastly, there's the insecure master, a power figure plagued by the anxiety of others' success. Recognizing these types of enviers is crucial. It's not about judging, but increasing our awareness of envy and its manifestations. This understanding will help us better navigate our relationships and protect ourselves. These enviers, whether a leveler, a slacker, or a master, use envy subtly. By identifying them, we can counteract their negative influence, fostering healthier relationships and avoiding the destructive power of envy. Certain situations and changes in status can trigger feelings of envy in almost everyone. It's a fact of life. We're social creatures, and our sense of worth is often interwoven with our perception of how we stack up against others. Imagine this. You've just been promoted at work. You're excited. You've worked hard for this, and you deserve it. But suddenly, the dynamics of your close relationships start to shift. Your friends, your peers, even your family members may begin to act differently around you. This is a classic trigger of envy. A sudden change in status, whether it's a promotion, a new purchase, or even a significant weight loss, can cause those around us to feel envious. It's not because they begrudge us our success, but because our advancement throws into sharp relief their own perceived lack of progress. So, how do you navigate these tricky waters? How do you handle the envy of others without damaging relationships or compromising your own success? One approach is to use self-deprecating humor. This can help to break the tension and remind others that, despite your success, you're still the same person. It's a gentle way of saying, "I'm not better than you. I've just achieved something I'm proud of." Another strategy is to offer genuine assistance to others. If you've just been promoted, share your insights and tips on how you achieved it. If you've just bought a new house, share your knowledge about the buying process. By doing this, you're not just diffusing potential envy, you're also helping others to grow and achieve their own goals. But remember, it's crucial to control your own emotions when faced with envy from others. It's not a reflection on you, but on them. Don't let their envy make you feel guilty for your success. Instead, use it as an opportunity to build stronger relationships and to foster a more supportive and collaborative environment. Handling these triggers with grace and humility can help mitigate the negative effects of envy. After all, success is sweeter when it's shared. In the age of social media, the prevalence of envy has skyrocketed. We find ourselves living in a digital age where our lives are constantly on display, and we are incessantly bombarded with snapshots of other people's lives. As we scroll through our feeds, we are met with a barrage of accomplishments, milestones, and carefully curated moments of others. This constant exposure to the perceived success of others has amplified feelings of envy. Social media platforms have inadvertently turned into arenas of comparison and competition. We find ourselves drawn into this never-ending race, striving to keep up with or surpass what we see on our screens. We measure our self-worth against the number of likes, shares, and comments. These platforms have converted envy into a currency, where the more we have, the more we want. It's like living in a vast neighborhood where everyone's windows are always open, and we can't help but peek inside. We see their polished lives, their achievements, and their possessions. These glimpses stir up feelings of envy, making us question our own lives, our accomplishments, and our self-worth. But we must remember that what we see on social media is just a fraction of people's lives. It's a highlight reel, carefully curated and edited to show only the best parts. It's not an accurate representation of their entire life, nor does it account for their struggles, their failures, and their insecurities. Envy in this digital age is a sneaky emotion. It creeps up on us, masked by the guise of admiration or aspiration. But it can quickly turn toxic, leading to feelings of inadequacy and discontentment. While social media has its benefits, it's important to be mindful of its potential to breed envy. It's crucial to separate the virtual world from reality and understand that everyone is running their own race, at their own pace, with their own set of hurdles. So, the next time you find yourself feeling envious while scrolling through your feed, remember, don't compare your behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. Feeling envious is not necessarily a bad thing. It's what we do with that feeling that matters. So, how do we turn the green-eyed monster of envy into a catalyst for positivity? Robert Greene, author of The Laws of Human Nature, offers us 5 transformative exercises. First, we need to confront our envy. Acknowledging our feelings is the first step towards understanding them. It's okay to feel envious. What's not okay is to let it consume us. Let's take that energy and redirect it towards self-improvement. Instead of resenting someone's success, let's use it as motivation to work harder and achieve our own goals. Second, we must practice empathy. Empathy allows us to understand the journey of others. When we see the hard work, the sacrifices, and the struggles that others have endured to achieve their success, we're less likely to feel envious and more likely to feel inspired. Third, let's focus on gratitude. When we're grateful for what we have, we're less likely to envy what others possess. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. It fills our hearts with contentment and our minds with positivity. Fourth, let's strive for self-improvement. Instead of envying others, let's compete with ourselves. Let's aim to be better than we were yesterday. This will not only divert our attention from destructive emotions, but also help us grow and evolve. Lastly, let's channel envy into admiration. When we admire someone, we acknowledge their accomplishments and appreciate their qualities. This allows us to learn from them, to be inspired by them, and to grow with them. By practicing these 5 exercises, we can transform envy from a destructive force into a constructive one. It's all about perspective and choice. We can choose to let envy destroy us, or we can choose to let it empower us. By transforming our envy into a force for positivity, we can enhance our personal growth and improve our relationships. Envy is a complex emotion, deeply rooted in our human nature. It can be a powerful motivator, pushing us to strive for more, but unchecked, it can also lead to feelings of inferiority and frustration. We've delved into the intricacies of envy, explored its subtle signs, and identified the types of people most likely to harbor this emotion. We've also touched on the triggers that can spark envy. One such trigger is a sudden change in status. This can stir feelings of envy in those around us, and in this age of social media, such changes are more visible than ever. We've unpacked the different types of enviers, from the leveler who strives for mediocrity to the status fiend who is obsessed with material possessions. We've also discussed the self-entitled slacker, who feels entitled to success without putting in the hard work, and the insecure master, who is anxious and insecure despite their high positions. Each type has their unique ways of expressing their envy, and recognizing these patterns can help us mitigate their effects on our relationships. We've seen that envy is elusive, often hiding behind fake smiles, backbiting, and poisonous praise. But by being observant and aware of these telltale signs, we can identify envy in its early stages and address it before it escalates. But remember, envy is not a beast to be slain, but an emotion to be understood and managed. Robert Greene, in his book The Laws of Human Nature, provides valuable insights on how to turn envy into positivity. By acknowledging our feelings of envy and understanding their roots, we can transform them into motivation for personal growth and self-improvement. This journey towards understanding and managing our feelings of envy is not a one-time event, but a continuous process of self-awareness and growth. So let's take this journey together, understanding our emotional landscape and using our insights to build stronger, healthier relationships with others. Remember, recognizing and managing envy is a journey, not a destination. And as Robert Greene suggests in his book, The Laws of Human Nature, it's a journey well worth taking.